All right, let's talk some LSU football here on this beautiful Monday in the capital city. We got to go inside Tiger Stadium on Saturday night, and I was pretty excited to go in there. If you heard me on Friday, you heard that. I was confused, but I was excited. I was like, why in the world are we being allowed to watch the team practice 7 days before game day? Why are we going inside Tiger Stadium to see a scrimmage when they're this close to action? Like, we've never had this situation before. And things became pretty clear pretty quickly inside Tiger Stadium on Saturday. We weren't watching a scrimmage. We were watching a walkthrough. And that's fine. I kind of had expectations of watching a scrimmage, which I thought was weird. It was a walkthrough because you're getting close to Clemson and you don't need to scrimmage. You've done your scrimmaging. The hay's in the barn on fall camp. LSU has emerged from fall camp relatively healthy, and what we saw on Saturday night was a walkthrough. They didn't tackle anybody. Garrett Nussmeier never threw a pass. You saw some scout team stuff. You saw some punt team. You saw one 5-minute period where all we watched for 5 minutes was whatever special teams unit it was, and there was no way for us to tell because they stood in a huddle 4 yards off the sideline. And they would yell out a name, and that guy would run off, and his sub would run on, just so they would know if you were in a special team spot and this guy can't go because his knee's dislocated or his helmet doesn't work, that who's next in. And we watched him do that for 5 minutes. So there wasn't a lot to glean from Saturday's workout. I thought the defense overperformed the offense. I thought the backup quarterbacks had a tough day. That's not new or news. It wasn't a big day for hot takes out there on Saturday night in Death Valley. At one point, we watched 18 periods. Around about period 12 to 13, as I'm still watching, I'm looking up and listening in the press box, and it was just, it sounded like a cocktail hour up there. Everybody's yapping, talking. Half the people aren't looking at the field. It was not a lot to be gleaned from Saturday's practice, and once again, that is okay. But one thing we did get from this weekend was that Garrett Nussmeier was given number 18. If you listen to the show, you follow us on social media, you know about a month ago, I did a segment suggesting, hey, I think it's time that a quarterback wear this number. It hasn't happened since Matt Mullock wore it. I think it's time to do that. Garrett Nussmeier embodies that number in multiple ways. One, he waited his turn. That doesn't happen very often in college football these days. You're on the bench in spring number 2, see ya. He didn't do that. He waited it out. He waited for Jayden Daniels to win his Heisman Trophy. And then he went out and played. And then you look at this past offseason. He could have been a first-round draft choice in the NFL. I don't think that it's unreasonable to suggest with that class of quarterbacks that Garrett Nussmeier could have been in the first round. Not the first pick, in the first round. Said, nope, I'm going to come back. So not only did he wait his turn, then he stayed. Neither of those things happens too often in this era of college football, but he did. And he's always been a really good leader. He's been a good leader from the bench. He's been a good leader when he's gotten his opportunity to start. And he was a great representative of LSU at SEC Media Days back in July. And again, I'm not going to make too big a deal out of it. I don't think that I'm going to sit here and go, oh, the leader, the quarterback's 18, best guy they got. You're not, I mean, the last time an 18 quarterback wore 18, they won the national championship with Matt Mullock. I'm not going there. But I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that you've got a leader on this football team that happens to be taking the snaps. And look, Joe Burrow didn't wear 18. He did all right. Jayden Daniels didn't wear 18. He did all right. So, again, that point remains. But Garrett Nussmeier embodies what that means. And what I'm taking from this has a little bit less to do with specifically Garrett Nussmeier. I think it probably has more to do with me looking at this going, you know, it's just a really good thing that your quarterback is thought of in that way by that room, by that coaching staff. I think that is a good thing. I think that's an inherent positive. And let me say this. I believe if LSU is going to accomplish its goals this year, and its goals have not been explicitly stated to us, but you understand what they are. The first goal is to go 1-0 and to beat Clemson, and then the goal is to make the playoffs here. There's obviously an SEC championship game that you'd like to play in and win. there's a national championship at the end of this line, which Brian Kelly mentioned today, like, this team wants to win a national championship. I want to win a national championship. That's great. The only way for this program to beat Clemson on Saturday, to win at least 10 games this year, to play for an SEC championship, to win an SEC championship, to make the playoff, to win a playoff game, to get to a national championship game, to win a national championship, the only way that works is if the new number 18 is a star. Now, let me say this. I believe LSU's defense is going to be great this year. Not good, great. And that's going to help. But in this day and age in college football, you can't do what Nick Saban was doing 15 years ago. You cannot have a defense that allows 8.1 points per game and runs it down people's throats and wins a bunch of games 24-7. Like, that doesn't play in this era of college football. You are going to have to make big plays down the field, score points, win games that are played in the upper 20s and 30s. And while we'll go through the course of this week, and I will suggest to you that I don't believe that this game on Saturday is going to be played in the upper 30s, you're going to have some of those this year. And I think LSU is going to go into many a fourth quarter this year, 5 of them, 7 of them this year, where you got to make some plays to win a game that is in the balance. I do not believe LSU is going to whitewash the field like they did in 19 or 11, where they just beat the brakes off everybody. You're going to get into some dog fights over the course of the next 3 months. And if your quarterback can't stare down 100,000 people, stare down an elite SEC defense, stare down 4th and 6, stare down 3rd and 11, and make some plays, you have no chance. And the number 18 is not going to make him make those plays. But this is just another data point when we're discussing this LSU football team. Is like, what are they going to be? What are they? You've got a really good player back there at quarterback who has the complete respect of that entire team and organization. And now he's got a number on his chest to represent that. And I think it's a cool story. And we won't know how that story ends until middle of December or hopefully the middle of January next year. But this is a footnote that could become a headline over the course of the next 3, 4, 5 months. And I thought it was really cool. I thought it was well earned. If they had gone with Whit Weeks, I would have thought it was great. He deserves it for sure. If they had gone with Jacoby and Guillory, I'd have said, great. Chris Hilton has a great story in Baton Rouge. But this made the most sense to me. So when I saw that on Sunday morning, I thought, I like it. I like that guy and that number. And it's wild to me that 21 players have worn that number since a quarterback last did. And that doesn't dismiss the work that Damone Clark or Kaylavon Chason did. Doesn't dismiss the work that Lloyd Cushenberry did. There have been plenty of really good players. Tre'Davious White was a heck of a player to wear that number. But I like it on my quarterback. I think that's a good thing. I called for it back in June, and it's been delivered here at the end of August. And now Garrett Nussmeier will put on a new number as he gets ready to hit on that bus and head to Clemson, South Carolina. This is going to be an awesome week. That was a great start to it. I'm fired up to get into LSU football in 2025, and we will be knee-deep in it throughout the course of this week. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.